So we are so fortunate in Kenmore to have Stephanie Lukash as interim city manager. And one of the things about Stephanie is she doesn't just manage systems, but she cultivates a sense of place, like I mentioned earlier. She's someone who listens as a community leader, and she leads with intention, and she understands that good governance starts with caring not only about her people and the community, but the ground where we're standing. And so I'd like to introduce Stephanie to start the State of the City.
Thank you so much, Sandra. And I can't tell you, I see so many familiar faces in this room, and I'm so grateful to each and every one of you. And we're so excited to share with you today the amazing work we've done in the last year and the amazing work we have coming up in the year ahead. I'm in day 5 as interim city manager, so it's a brand new role. And when this transition was happening and we had this on the calendar, I said, of course we're going to do the State of the City. Of course we're going to do that because we want you all to hear all the great things that we're doing, and I think it's a really important opportunity for us to engage with all of you in this special way that we do once a year. So it is my honor to introduce our mayor of Kenmore, Mayor Nigel Herbig, and he's going to kick us off, and then we have a group of council members and the mayor who are going to share and engage with you on this important work that we're looking at in the year ahead. So, Mayor Herbig.
Thank you, Stephanie. So I want to welcome everybody. I've already been welcomed a couple times, but thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate having all of you here and your interest in Kenmore. My name is Nigel Herbig. I'm very honored to serve as mayor of Kenmore. This is our first day of the city since 2022, and we're really excited to be here and to share some updates on a lot of the things we have going on in the city. And we're really, really grateful to be surrounded by so many engaged folks and people who are involved in our community, people who are active in our chamber, and also just this amazing venue here at the Lodge. This is a real honor to be here. So I'm excited that we're all here today to talk about progress we've made, celebrate some achievements, and most importantly, look at the opportunities that we have on our horizon as a city. First, I want to just take a quick moment and recognize my colleagues on the council. We have Councilmember Lutzis right there. We've got Deputy Mayor O'Kane, Councilmember Culver, and Councilmember Sasson. This is a team sport. We are a team. We all work together. You'll see that during this presentation also. I also want to recognize other elected officials. We have Councilmember Dabowski, who's a wonderful representative for Kenmore, and State Representative Davina Dewar, who is very lucky to have her here during session. So thank you so much for being here. So to kick off the address, we are going to take a quick look in our rearview mirror for a second to highlight and celebrate some of Kenmore's progress and milestones over the last year. Please enjoy this short video.
As we look back, it's clear that this past year in Kenmore has been one of growth, achievement, and forward momentum, guided by the City Council's 2024 priorities. Here is a look back at some of Kenmore's most notable accomplishments over the last year. Kenmore remains committed to expanding and preserving affordable and diverse housing options. The City Council adopted an updated comprehensive plan outlining a vision for Kenmore's development over the next 20 years. The proposed affordable housing project, The Approach at Kenmore, is moving forward, and Kenmore celebrated the ribbon cutting of the new Lake City Partners Senior Women's Shelter in partnership with King County. The Climate Action Plan guided the city's initiatives to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and reach carbon neutrality by 2050. A recent report showed that between 2019 and 2023, emissions in Kenmore decreased by over 25,000 metric tons of carbon dioxide equivalent. The Solarize Kenmore program provided over 350 free solar assessments last year, providing a simplified path to accessing renewable energy. The city hit the grant jackpot and received $8.2 million in state funding for sidewalk projects across Kenmore. Projects on 80th Avenue Northeast, Arrowhead Drive, and other areas will enhance safety, multimodal transportation, and connections. The Kenmore Automated Photo Enforcement Program expanded, and the cameras have drastically reduced speeding violations and created safer school zones. The City Council adopted a financial sustainability plan that outlines long-term strategies to ensure the city's continued financial health. Kenmore also adopted the 2025-2026 biennium budget, celebrated another AAA bond rating, and continued to receive clean audits. Kenmore remains steadfastly committed to continuing its diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility efforts, implementing the DEIA strategic plan, and fostering a safe and welcoming community for all. This year, the DEIA Advisory Committee broadened community outreach through vibrant events like Dia de los Muertos, Juneteenth, and Pride Month. The Lake Point property continues to be one of Kenmore's most exciting opportunities, with community feedback showing strong interest in acquisition of the site for a public park. Kenmore was awarded $7.5 million in King County Conservation Futures Grant funding for shoreline property acquisition and restoration, and remains in ongoing communication with the property owner to explore opportunities for this site. Kenmore remains one of Washington's safest cities, ranked 5th safest in the state by SafeWise. Kenmore's police department hosted Nurturing Trust workshops with the North Shore School District, engaging Spanish-speaking families in the work, and introduced body-worn cameras, enhancing transparency and accountability. Kenmore continues to build a thriving local economy thanks to strong partnerships with the Kenmore Business Alliance and the Bothell Kenmore Chamber. And with a fresh focus on increasing tourism efforts and supporting local businesses, the city built and launched FindKenmore.org, a beautiful new business directory and visitor hub. In September, the local business community came together for the first ever Kenmore Oktoberfest, a 4-day event that attracted thousands of attendees to Kenmore's Brew Row, downtown, and the lodge at St. Edward Park, which earned the prestigious Michelin Key Award. Kenmore ramped up community engagement efforts, including the Love Where You Live Community Engagement Project, which collected feedback from over 4,000 participants who shared their visions for Kenmore's future. Thanks to support from local businesses and passionate community members, Kenmore hatched Hank Heron, our friendly and beloved city mascot. The city also launched its first providing a new way for residents to learn and connect with their local government. And with over 22 city-hosted special events, this community came together and celebrated a year filled with connections and shared experiences. Kenmore celebrated extraordinary achievement in leadership and preservation. Stephanie Lukash, interim city manager, received the National Leadership Trailblazer Award for her remarkable contributions to public service and government leadership. And Community Development Director and Assistant City Manager Debbie Benn won the Meyer-Wolf Award for her excellence in planning. The King County Spelman Awards for Historic Preservation celebrated the legacy of Kenmore Air and honored former Assistant City Manager Nancy Housley. And Kenmore bid farewell to Rob Harlindsey, the city manager of 13 years. Rob leaves behind a legacy of exemplary service and action that will continue to propel Kenmore upward for years to come. A heartfelt thank you to our community partners and Love Note co-creators who make Kenmore a place where all people love where they live, work, and play. As we finish up soaring through the past year, it's clear that Kenmore is lifting off toward new opportunities and exciting challenges on the horizon. Thank you for being a part of Kenmore's journey.
As we move forward together, I want to reaffirm our city's commitment to dignity, equality, and constitutional and civil rights for all people. These are principles that are at the heart of everything we do as a city and a community. The City Council remains dedicated to advancing diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility efforts throughout Kenmore as we continue to implement and adopt our adopted DEIA strategic plan. More recently, the City Council adopted and reaffirmed a safe and welcoming city resolution, and we're amplifying messaging to the community that Kenmore is an inclusive and equitable city where all people should feel welcome and safe. As changes occur at the federal level, we're committed to maintaining our values as a city, supporting and sharing resources with community members, and navigating these shifts with care. Our DEIA Advisory Committee is a vital part of this work, helping us guide our efforts and ensuring that diverse voices are heard and valued. The committee is planning new events and finding new ways to engage with our community members, and we're so grateful for their guidance and contributions to our DEIA efforts. And I know that we have some of our DEIA Advisory Committee members here. If you could just wave or stand briefly. We also take pride in Kenmore being a well-run city. This means that we have positive interactions with our public, we facilitate democracy, and I know this group in particular will appreciate this, but we also focus on encouraging and promoting economic development. We also have core work that we do every single day that includes ensuring public safety, maintaining city infrastructure, complying with state and federal laws and mandates, and safeguarding city finances, and following our financial sustainability plan and planning for our city's future. In order to be a well-run city, we rely on outstanding leadership, especially from our city manager and our leadership team. After saying goodbye to our city manager of 13 years, Rob Carr-Lindsay, just last week, who we know left in a double mark on this city and will affect people's lives for generations to come here in Kenmore. We're now looking for our next city manager. The city council was very happy to appoint our deputy city manager, Stephanie Lukash, as our interim city manager. And we are grateful that she's here to step forward and bring her expertise to fill this role and provide some steady leadership as we continue to transition as an organization. We've also recruited a hiring firm, GMP Consultants, to conduct an executive search for the permanent city manager position, and we expect the process will probably take about 4 to 6 months. We are going to keep folks in the community informed and updated on the process through city communications as things progress. And I would now like to pass it over to our interim city manager, Stephanie Lukash, to share more.
Tremendous pleasure to be here with you all today, and as I mentioned earlier, it's my 5th day on the job as interim city manager, and I wouldn't be anywhere else but with all of you and sharing the joy I have serving this incredible community. It's an honor and a privilege to be in this role and to be here with you all. So our service vision centers how we approach our work, and it's up on the screen. Propelling Kenmore upward, we create a thriving community where all people love where they live. And what I love about this service vision is it was created by our employees. So we got together as an organization and said, what are our values? And we workshopped this. And it was actually 2 groups. One group came up with propelling Kenmore upward, and the other group came up with, we create a thriving community where all people love where they live. And you'll notice a nod to our aviation theme, and I know we have Kenmore Air in the room, but we have deep roots in the aviation and seaplane industry. That's an important part of who we are as a city. One of the things that we all, I think, agree at the city is that our greatest asset is our people. And I would love to acknowledge our city leadership team who are in the room. Can I get you to wave, those of you who are here, leadership team members? We can't do this work without talented and incredibly dedicated leaders, and I'm so grateful to work with each of you tonight. I want to acknowledge the city staff who work diligently on the community's behalf every day, all the time. So can I just get away from all of our city staff who are in the room, many of whom were here early this morning helping put this event together. We said this before, but I want to say it again. I just want to thank the Bothell-Kenmore Chamber. It became the Bothell-Kenmore Chamber several years ago, and we're so grateful. Sandra, Heather, Nicole, Eve, we are so grateful to work with you every day and just appreciate our partnership. It's a deep partnership. We're dedicated to each other, and thank you for your remarks earlier back at you, feel the same way about you, looking forward to our future together. And we created a new KBA executive committee this year. Can I have each of those business owners who agreed to be on this group just wave your hands? I want to acknowledge them. There are so many other people who are committed and dedicated to Kenmore, people who serve on commissions and committees, people who are co-creators, we've already talked about that, volunteers, families, parents, partner agencies. I know we have several partner agencies in the room, community partners. We thank all of you and acknowledge that we can't do this work if we're not doing it together. So let's give a round of applause for all of this. So our work is guided at the city by our city council and our city council's priorities, with a special focus every year on the top 5 priorities. And our council sets these priorities at an annual retreat that they hold each year. And you'll notice in this document, we added this year a preamble. And that's because our leadership team and our employees said, these priorities are really important, and we also have work that we do every day on behalf of the citizens. It's sometimes unsexy, it's kind of boring, it's behind the scenes, and it's urgently essential. And I really appreciate the way this preamble came into being. So it talks about all of our top priorities and this core work that if we're not doing well, then we're not a well-run city, as our mayor talked about a minute ago. And then we have our council's priorities, and there are 9 of them this year. So we have continued to implement the adopted climate action plan and promote environmental stewardship, including water, air, forest, and habitat restoration and preservation. Preserve and increase availability of all types of housing at all income levels, including the needs of people experiencing homelessness. The 3rd priority is finalize, adopt, and implement the Human Services Strategic Plan. The 4th priority is promote sustainable economic development strategies. I know that's near and dear to this group in this room, that enhance downtown and attract residents, small businesses, and visitors. Enhance multimodal transportation, including pedestrian and bicycle safety. Broaden community engagement and foster fun. Continue to implement the Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Accessibility DEIA strategic plan, including social justice reform. And last but not least, explore opportunities to expand parks and recreation. So that work of setting this preamble and also the council's priorities guides everything that we do in the city, and I think it's really important that you hear more about that work. And we'll do that in just a minute, but the way we wanted to frame this today is it's a year of new opportunities and also unwavering commitment to the city's ongoing priorities. And some highlights that you're going to hear, I can't wait for you to hear about some of our upcoming work this year, including the Lake Point Economic Development Environmental Enhancement Initiative, Imagine Housing, Climate Action Plan, the city's first ever Human Services Strategic Plan, Public Works Operations Center, economic development efforts, and as Nigel mentioned, the city manager transition. So we're on an upward momentum, and we're so excited for what's ahead. We are an action-oriented city, and if you knew Rob Carlindsey, he always said that. We talked about we're a city who takes action, and that continues to be the case and will be the case as we move forward. We have upward momentum, and we are excited to share with you all some of the actions we'll take this year. And so I'm delighted to now turn it over to our Deputy Mayor, Melanie O'Kane, and she's going to share more about the Council's priority of the Lake Point project. So, Melanie.
Thank you, Stephanie. So I'm the lucky one that gets to talk about one of the biggest, most important projects that our city faces, which is the Lake Point project. For nearly 30 years, our city's been trying to find a way to develop this land for the benefit of our community. Over the past 4 years, last year in particular, we started implementing a process to acquire the perimeter of the property, which is, the way we're describing this is, and it's the truth, it's an environmental stewardship and economic development opportunity for our city. By restoring the shoreline, we'll be doing critical work for the crown of Lake Washington, and by doing economic stewardship, we're bringing jobs to the city. when we get this park implemented, which is something through our Love Where You Live project has been validated as a priority for our community. When we get that done, we will actually have a draw, and we're already in works of finding developers to come in and infill the property for economic development. That means housing, restaurants, businesses, public spaces that we all can thrive in and enjoy. And the goal with that development is to create a charming destination for people to come and enjoy our city. And so we're really, really thrilled about this. So as you can see, I'll get to some numbers. We received $7.5 million in King County Conservation Futures grants. Thank you, Rod, for your support with that. We also received $450,000 in King County Cooperative Watershed Management Grant funds in support of acquisition of the shoreline area, and we'll continue to seek regional support and funding to move this project forward. Another big thank you to our King County Council member, Rod Dembowski. He is actually proposing $15 million in the current version of the King County Parks levy renewal. This is tremendous. It's because our partners in the county, in the state, and at the federal level know what a critical project this is to our region. This is going to be a premier destination and a landmark project that other cities and regions can look to for how to develop and bring economic development to their cities with beauty and charm to meet and actually create community spaces. So it's just a thrill to be a part of this. Let's see, we are in continued conversations with the property owner on the acquisition, and we're looking forward to hopefully having something for you to hear soon on that. So, tied in with this, and where Lake Point actually matches, is our climate action plan. In 2022, the city of Kenmore implemented its first climate action plan. We are one of the first cities in the region to implement a climate action plan. And we are moving forward with its implementation measures to foster environmental stewardship and reduce Kenmore's greenhouse gas emissions. We're just getting started on a new urban forestry management plan to guide the long-term stewardship of our long-term goals for tree planting, canopy cover, and also the best practices for tree planting and maintenance. And last year, we held a community engagement campaign around electric vehicle infrastructure and heard from many residents on their ideas for the best locations for EVs, charging stations, and this work is moving forward. The city also just kicked off its second year of Solarize Kenmore, a program to incentivize and simplify the process of adding solar panels to your home or business. Kenmore saw a lot of interest in the program last year, and there's a new rebate this year for the first 40 residents who contract for solar panels through the program to receive an additional $1,000 rebate. These programs and other CAP implementation initiatives are supported by our Climate Action Advisory Committee. And I want to acknowledge their dedication to this work. I think we may have a few, if there are any CAP members here, please raise your hand so we can acknowledge you. Well, anyway, we do really appreciate that our community is stepping forward and participating in important committees like our Climate Action Committee to help steer us in the right direction and ensure that we are doing everything that we can to meet our carbon emission reduction goals. And as I said earlier, with carbon emission reduction, we also are looking at the environmental stewardship aspect that in the long term also reduces carbon emissions. So we tie those together here in the city, and I think it's a really, really important thing in our time to be remembering the words environmental stewardship alongside climate action. Now I'd like to turn it over to Councilmember Culver to share more about the council's housing priorities.
Howdy, gang. The city is thrilled to be moving forward with the The city is thrilled to be moving forward with the approach at Kenmore, an innovative affordable housing project in partnership with Imagine Housing and Habitat for Humanity. You can see this lovely rendering of the project here on the slide. The vacant property is located just 3 doors down from City Hall on 181st. It's behind Safeway. The development will incorporate 103 affordable rental units, which will mix 3-bedroom, 2-bedroom, and 1-bedroom and studio units. The development will also include 18 affordable ownership units, which is huge. We needed that. Just this past Monday, the council approved a purchase and sale agreement for the project, which is an important step in seeing this very exciting development come to fruition. So we're very excited about it. And with that, I will kick it back to Mayor Herbig to share more on the council's priorities.
Thank you, John. So, sorry, I'm trying to find the right page here. Things got thrown around a little bit. One of the, as we are working to address kind of the regional housing crisis I think we all recognize we're facing right now, we're trying to address all levels of it. John talked a little bit, Councilmember Culver talked a little bit about how we are partnering to get some ownership units and to get some kind of working level affordable units built in Kenmore. But at the deepest end of affordability is what we call step housing. So step housing stands for shelter, transitional housing, emergency housing, and permanent supportive housing. And these are important. They provide shelter and stabilization options for people who are experiencing or at risk of homelessness. We know that with the housing crisis we're facing and the housing costs we're facing as a region, that is a huge driver in the number of folks that we are seeing who are living outside and living unsheltered. So as we both work to address the housing crisis, we also need to figure out the short-term solution and get folks inside. Washington state law mandates the cities allow for emergency and supportive housing in certain zones. Aiming to address homelessness, Kenmore zoning is going to be amended this year for clarity and consistency with state law. We also have established a step housing advisory committee, which will provide an advisory report to the council later this year on zoning and regulation amendments related to step housing. Sorry. The committee's work is going to be brief, very focused, and they'll be helping assist on evaluating code amendments, engaging community, and trying to find a path forward for Kenmore to welcome these types of housing into our community in a way that works with the city. On Monday, we approved 8 applicants to serve on that, and we're thankful to all of them for stepping forward with that work. Another piece of the housing puzzle is middle housing, and I've got it. Sorry. Things got shuffled around a little bit and I had to unshuffle them. Another piece of the housing puzzle is missing middle housing and accessory dwelling units. Missing middle housing is the housing between our single family zones, which we're all very familiar with, and multifamily. It can be everything from duplexes and triplexes and courtyard housing up to townhomes and stacked flats. This isn't just something that we need to do as a city to allow more housing, it is also a state requirement. There was House Bill 1110 in 2023, requires cities to implement development codes and expand the number and types of housing units permitted in residential zones throughout Kenmore. And so we are going to be working, in addition to the middle housing, the city is also required to adopt regulations related to accessory dwelling units, as outlined in House Bill 1337, and we need to have those wrapped up by the end of June this year also. So our planning commission right now is doing a lot of hard work around reviewing draft regulations, and staff expects they'll be bringing those to council between April and June to ensure that we have everything adopted by the end of June deadline that the state's given us. As we work to do our part to address the regional housing crisis and work together on housing goals handed down to us from the county and the city, and I'm not arguing they're bad goals, they're good goals. We need, every single city needs to be stepping up and building these houses. Missing middle housing and accessory dwelling units are some of the easiest ways that we can add some infill housing. And it also has benefits in that it can allow folks who maybe are living in a house that's too big for them, but they don't want to move. They can set up an ADU, they can cut their house in half, and they might be able to age in place rather than being forced to sell because of property taxes or fixed incomes and that sort of thing. So it's a way for us to have some gentle growth throughout the city. We'll also be meeting our housing targets. Transportation safety. When I first ran for council, almost 12 years ago now, my number one issue was pedestrian and bicycle safety. King County, before we were incorporated, and this has nothing to do with Councilmember Nebraska over there, but we were unincorporated until 1998, and the county was not spending a lot of time or money on building out our sidewalk network. I remember when I moved to Kenmore, and I lived just by City Hall in downtown, we didn't have sidewalks still in like the core area of the city. We've done a lot of work since then to address that. We built, I think, over 6 or 7 miles of sidewalk throughout the city and a similar number of bike lanes. But it's a really important issue for us. In 2014, we passed what we call a Target Zero resolution, which sets a goal for the city to have 0 pedestrian or bicyclist deaths or serious injuries by 2025, actually. And we have been on pace to meet that. As part of that, we're still making a lot of investments in bicycle and pedestrian safety this year, including placement of more candlesticks. Those are the sticks you see that separate out bike lanes and make it more visible for drivers so they know where they can and can't be. Green pavement markings and bike lane improvements. We also have ADA accessibility projects slated for 61st Avenue, and new sidewalks are in design in several locations throughout the city. That said, we still have lots of work to do, and we did recently work on a sidewalk inventory and ranking system, so we have a lot of information on how we're going to go forward with filling all of the sidewalk gaps we have throughout the city. Additionally, we have our Kenmore Automated Photo Enforcement, or CAPE. I'm sure many of you drove through one of our CAPE zones on your way here as you were coming up the hill. A lot of folks are viewing this as a financial thing, and I will be totally upfront. It is in our financial sustainability plan. The reason I supported CAPE is public safety. We are seeing some really great numbers out of the photo enforcement. Before implementing our school zone photo enforcement, which is 20 miles an hour, we had speeds exceeding 30 miles an hour. We had average speeds in school zones during school zone hours exceeding 30 miles an hour, and over 90% of drivers were exceeding 26 while the school zones were active. As of last month, our school zones had an average speed of 16 miles an hour, and only 1% of drivers are exceeding 26 miles an hour. Last November, we began continuous enforcement of the 30-mile-per-hour regulatory speed limit in those same school zones. Before enforcement began, 50% of drivers were going over 36 miles an hour in a 30. As soon as the warning period began, the rate of 36-mile-per-hour drivers immediately dropped to 10% in the first week, 5% by the end of the first month, and 2% by the end of February. It is amazing what happens when you put a cost to not following the law. And that's all we're asking folks to do, all the time, drive the speed limit. In February, the average speed in our enforcement areas was 26 miles an hour, and when the school zone wasn't active. So these are making huge changes. The speed reduction represents at least a 90% reduction in the risk of fatal crashes when the school zones are active, and an 80% reduction in the risk of fatal crashes in the other hours of the day. Given the success of our existing CAPE sites and increasing safe driving behavior, we are expanding into the Inglemore school zone along Simons in this spring and summer, and we expect staff to bring the council future recommendations for speed safety camera locations in the future. Public safety is one of the core jobs of a city, and we contract with a number of services that enhance our community well-being through resident safety. Our contract with the King County Sheriff's Office allows for a dedicated Kenmore police force, including vacation house checks, safe place programs. These services are augmented by a regional crisis response agency known as RACER, whereby mental health professionals are able to respond with police and behavioral health calls related to from 911 calls. Our municipal court services are contracted through the King County District Court at their facility in Shoreline. Excuse me. In 2023, Kenmore joined the King County Community Court, also in Shoreline, which is an alternative problem-solving court that seeks to go beyond just basic punishment, but also to identify and address underlying challenges that may contribute towards an individual's criminal activity. The community court model also includes a community resource center, which is available to any resident during court service hours on Tuesdays. Our regional fire authority provides fire services to Kenmore households, including mobile integrated health program, which provides additional support to low acuity 911 callers. So overall, we are very well served by the folks that we contract with for public safety, and we're very happy with the service we're getting from them. Next up, we will hear from Councilmember Valerie Sasson, who will share more about behavioral health.
You're so much taller than I am. Okay, I'm just gonna go. So building on public safety is what I would call public care. So behavioral health continues to be an important consideration as we implement policies and programs that ensure all Kenmore residents have the opportunity to thrive. Kenmore continues to be a leader in regional efforts to ensure that the entire continuum of care is available to Kenmore residents. And as a career midwife, continuity of care is near and dear to my heart as best practice. Anyway, this means that our residents have someone to call, someone to respond, and somewhere to go when they are in crisis. The somewhere to call, the 988 is the digital code that routes callers to the suicide and crisis lifeline. This is staffed by Crisis Connections for King County callers. This is a 24/7 confidential it's 24/7 confidential support to people in suicidal crisis or mental health related distress. And it includes dedicated services for veterans, Spanish-speaking folks, LGBTQ community members, the someone to respond, the Regional Crisis Response Agency, RACER, formed in 2022 as a collaborative effort among the North King County cities of Bothell, Kenmore, Kirkland, Lake Forest Park, and Shoreline, provides consolidated and standardized regional mobile crisis response services for the 5-city region. I don't think Brooke or Chief Moen are here today, but if you don't know about RACER, I just think this is one of the most amazing things. So please dig a little deeper. RACER provides a person-centered approach focusing on compassionate and immediate crisis response, de-escalation, and resource referral with follow-up tailored to the specific needs of those experiencing behavioral health changes. And lastly, in the continuum is the somewhere to go. Connections Health opened in August 2024 in Kirkland and was the region's first walk-in 24/7 behavioral health crisis center, providing urgent care and continued stabilization for people experiencing a mental health or substance abuse crisis. We did have the opportunity, many of us, to tour that facility. For those of you who don't know where it is, it's in Kirkland by the Fred Meyer. It's beautiful, and I personally really benefited from being able to see inside. So moving to human services, the 2024 Human Services Needs Assessment laid the groundwork for Kenmore's engagement in the human services and identified the guiding principles, key findings, and funding priorities which guided the funding determination for the 2025-26 Human Services Grant Program. That's a mouthful. In 2025 and 2026, the city will distribute $190,000 in grant funds across 20 agencies to support the programs they operate to assist Kenmore's most vulnerable residents. I do have a complete list if anybody's interested, but the 2 largest grants we give are to North Shore Senior Center and HopeLink, all the way down to the very smallest we give, which is called Sound Generations, which is a volunteer transfer service. I found that interesting. Developing the Human Services Needs Assessment is only the first step. The next phase, strategic planning, will identify activities and programs to achieve the plan's goals and address the community's needs. A term-limited Human Services Advisory Committee will be formed and will play a key role in the creation of the Human Services Strategic Plan, which is anticipated to be delivered to the City Council in 2025. In the interim, the City Council noted that resource navigation and assistance programs for residents in need has already been shown to be a priority area and funded the creation of such programming in this biennium. Staff expected to issue a request for proposals for this program during the second quarter of 2025. I do, for myself, I summarize this that the city is not in the business of direct service. We don't provide direct service. What we do as a city is we ask and we listen and we collaborate and we support and we communicate. I will now turn this back over to our interim city manager, Stephanie Lukash, and she will talk with us about economic development.
Thank you so much, Councilor Sasson. I appreciate that so much. All right, so, this room, economic development, is near and dear to all of your hearts, and we have a three-pronged approach to economic development. You can see it on the screen. It's be a well-run city, seize strategic opportunities, and focus on key partnerships. And the focus on key partnerships is what's happening right now in this room with all of you. In 2025, the city's economic development efforts will include taking action on the community feedback we received in the Love Where You Live project, and also the Urban Land Institute provided expert advice, including a desire for more restaurants and retail. And so our plan is to conduct a restaurant and retail study, and that will help us better understand our current landscape and also make recommendations for the future of economic development, especially around our downtown core. How do we help our restaurants and retail thrive? And it's challenging. And so we're committed to understanding better what the needs are so we can respond to those. We now know that we have more than 2,500 businesses operating in Kenmore. That includes resident businesses and non-resident businesses. And that's a big piece of knowledge we didn't have until recently. And so we're excited to find new ways to engage with all of those businesses. We know we have a lot of home-based businesses in Kenmore. We're really interested in engaging with them and with every brick and mortar business and helping them all to thrive. And a key way that we connect is through our partnership. I'm a little bit of a broken record, Sandra, but with our partnership with the Bothell Kenmore Chamber, we can't do this work without the Chamber, and also the Kenmore Business Alliance, which is officially a committee of the Chamber and meets every month. Any of you who are Kenmore businesses or do business in Kenmore who want to join us the first Thursday of every month at 8:30 at City Hall, we would love to have you come. So please join us for that. And I mentioned earlier that we launched a KBA Executive Committee this year. So excited as we develop and grow in this space to engage and have our business owners directly working with us on all of these important things that we're doing for economic development. And we have some really fun things coming up this year. You saw in the year in review video those Oktoberfest pictures. Who doesn't want to relate in Lederhosen? I expect everyone in this room to be in Lederhosen in October. So we'll have our second annual Oktoberfest coming back to Kenmore. We're really excited about that. And also we're planning for FIFA in 2026. I know we're a small city, but we are going to lean into that and we're excited. We have plans, and the KBA Executive Committee was just talking about it at their meeting last week, and so we're going to be excited to see what comes out of that. But we plan to take full advantage of FIFA. And then finally, we're implementing a new tourism grant for wayfinding signage. We think that's going to be they're going to be whimsical and fun and artistic. And we're also exploring more tourism grant fund opportunities because we think this is a space we need to be in, especially with the Michelin Key Lodge that we're in right now. We are a destination and we're growing in the tourism space and excited about that. Okay, now I get to talk about something really exciting, the Public Works Operations Center. So we are currently in the design and planning for a new Public Works Operations Center. And I want to tell you all, this is a really important priority for the city and has been in the works for many years. And what I will say is that our public works crews are unsung heroes, and we're grateful for them, we appreciate them, we see them, And they deserve, and we need them to have a modern facility out of which to operate and to support the important work they do every day. It's invisible, and you all experience it, and we think it's really important that they have a modern facility that will be there for them for a long time to come. And it's going to be located on 202nd Street, just south of the middle school. And permits will be submitted this spring with a bid process on the site improvements to launch this summer, and then building improvement permitting and bidding will follow after that. And we're hoping to complete construction sometime in 26 to 2027. And the total estimated cost of the project is $22.5 million, and that includes the property acquisition costs. So I just think this sort of stuff, especially for this audience, is sometimes it's invisible, but it's really important to our city, and we're excited to move forward on this work. Okay, so organizational health. Something else that's invisible to the outside, but that is a near and dear to our hearts, and as we move forward, is organizational health. And I mentioned earlier that our people are our greatest asset, and we 100% believe that in Kenmore. And so one of the things that we care about very much is retaining and supporting our talented, dedicated staff. And so this year, we're embarking on an organization-wide work using Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. How many of you have read that book in your life? It's been around for decades, and it's time-tested and true and continues to be relevant. We're excited about that work. And we bring our city team together for all kinds of things. We have a lot of fun together. We bring Where's the Fun, all staff meetings, we do lots of trainings and wellness programs. And we're thinking about new ways that we can bring our employees together and recognize their incredible efforts. Because without our city employees and without their dedicated work, the city doesn't run effectively, and we want to thank them for their work that they do every day for all of you. And so with that, one last time, I'm going to turn this back over to Mayor Herbig. He's going to close us out, and we're just so grateful to be with you all today.
So here in Kenmore, we have some few core tenets that shape our work, our relationships, programs, and initiatives. We work at building and supporting a better person and place. We strive for community, sustainability, democracy, transparency, responsibility, trust, growth, and this might be hard to believe, but fun. A lot of governments don't play with fun, but we ask ourselves, where's the fun on a pretty regular basis? In Kenmore, we strive to we build community and a sense of place, improving equity and social justice, saving lives and reducing human suffering, supporting community health and well-being, being stewards of the public's resources, facilitating democracy, protecting our environment, beautifying our city, planning for a better future, helping local businesses succeed, creating a respectful and supportive work environment for all of our wonderful city employees, and again, asking ourselves, where is the fun? It's actually an agenda item in all of our city council meetings, just so you know. It's fun. We get to talk about something that's kind of cool that's happening. We are in this hard work right now to acknowledge that we have an amazing community and regional partners who help us meet our goals and accomplish our work and priorities. As I said earlier, this is a team effort, and it's not just me and the council, or it's not just me and the council and the staff, it's me, the council, the staff, and everybody in this room, and everybody else who gives back to the city. So we want to thank all the outstanding leaders in our midst, and those who aren't here today who help partner and collaborate with us on a regular basis to keep Kenmore propelling upwards. First, we want to thank the Michelin Key Award-winning Lodge at St. Edward State Park, our gracious host for this lovely evening. Corey is here somewhere, but thank you so much for hosting us today. We want to thank the Bothell-Kenmore Chamber for hosting us at your meeting tonight and your continued partnership. We recognize our KBA members who are in the room today. We value and appreciate your investment in the monthly meetings. And thank you for participating in and engaging with a strong and growing business community here in Kenmore. We want to acknowledge and appreciate all of our partnering agencies across a variety of fields. We want to thank our nonprofits in Kenmore who serve the community in just so many different ways, from putting on local community theater to community artwork to all sorts of things. We have an amazing ecosystem of nonprofits that really add to the just making Kenmore a wonderful place to be. In Kenmore, we love our co-creators. Here in Kenmore, we as a city try to work with our residents. When they want to do something fun for the city, we try to work with them to say yes. Government in general sometimes is set up to say no to people, but when people come to us and they want to do something fun for the city, we go out of our way and bend over backwards to find a way to say yes to them. And we have some wonderful co-creators who do what we call love notes throughout the city. Could be everything from a trash pickup to painting a fire hydrant to doing a mural. And it adds fun, it adds artwork, it makes Kenmore a more interesting place to live and walk around in. And we want to thank all those folks. We also want to thank our community leaders and volunteers who do so much of the heavy lifting to get things going and moving, including often serving on city commissions and committees. And we want to honor and recognize the educators and parents and families who support our students in Kenmore. And finally, I want to thank our dedicated staff and council, because like I said, it is a team effort, and I appreciate all the work that they do. So. On behalf of the City of Kenmore and City Council and staff, I want to thank all of you for attending today. It's clear that we have some big transitions happening and exciting things ahead in the city. You all probably saw the bags at your chairs when you came in. You have a nice little Kenmore goodie bag, so enjoy that. You'll be very visible when you take your walks, especially if you're wearing a beanie too. You'll be incredibly visible. Yes. And we look forward to continued engagement and collaboration, and we hope you'll continue to follow along with us as we continue our upward trajectory. Thank you so much.